Welcome in, everybody. We are all about energy, and we wanted to start a roundtable series with tools and information around spiritual, metaphysical, and cosmic energy, and then some. Basically, information that we all wish was out there when we were starting our own ascension journey. And so the upcoming videos will be all about ascension, astrology, spirituality, psychic development, channeling, and more. So definitely stay tuned for more videos to come. But kicking us off, Peyton, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody?
Hi, everyone. I am Peyton. I am an intuitive and a channel, and I help lightworkers and sensitives unlock their spiritual gifts, master and control their energy so they can live happier, healthier lives.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And you,
And
Corey?
hi, yep. Hi, I'm Corey, and I'm a clairvoyant. And I love to help people heal from their traumas or physical pain. I'm also a teacher at Intuitive Insights, and I love helping people, give them tools and help them learn about energy and learn what it is and how to read it and how to use the tools to help themselves and others. That's me.
Awesome. Thank you, Corey. And I am Yaila. I'm an intuitive teacher and healer. I help people strengthen their intuition by teaching them tools, also at the same school as Corey, Intuitive Insights. That's where we also know Peyton from. So she's one of ours as well. And we've all kind of branched on our own journeys. So welcome in, everybody. Tonight's topic, we're going to talk about how do we read energy, because there's all different types of energy out there, different types of clairsenses. And so each of us are going to speak about how we understand how we're reading energy in the different clairsenses and how we know it's actual energy versus just our own mind. So Peyton, I'll start with you.
Sure. Well, I think of the way that I read energy, and most people have heard the different ways to read energy. We've heard of clairvoyant, which is clear seeing, and there's clairaudience, which is clear hearing. And so there's several different ways that you can read energy, which are all just different ways to tap into your own unique spiritual gift and your own intuition. And so the way I read energy, I consider myself to be primarily telepathic and claircognizant, which means clear knowing, and also empath. I'm also very empathic, which means I tune into people's emotions and how they feel. And so the way that I read energy is I tend to receive energy as thought form. So I read thoughts and get downloads in the form of thoughts, as well as reading how people are feeling, their emotions. Those are the two main ways that I read energy. And so what's interesting, if you read energy in this way through thought forms and empathy, is the tricky part is learning how to discern what is you, what are your thoughts and emotions versus what is a download from spirit or information you're picking up from someone else. And so for me, one of the learning curve in reading energy the way I do is to learn how to separate my own thoughts from the thoughts that I'm receiving that are downloads from spirit. Because when information comes to me, it's almost like you're watching TV on mute. And you can see the words scrolling across the bottom. And so you can see the information clearly and you know what it's saying, but you don't know who's saying it. And so that's one of the things that I had to learn on my journey is discernment. What is mine? What is someone else's? And I think it's the same if you're an empath, which is the other way I read energy, is because I feel how other people feel. I can feel their emotions. I can feel their energy. And again, it can be tricky. And part of what we teach in our classes is how to figure out what is yours, what is someone else's. And that's part of the discernment and the learning curve of just learning your unique way to read energy. And so because this is how I tend to read energy, I didn't even know I was intuitive until about 5 years ago. I just thought everyone operated the way I did because it feels so much like me. The information sounds like my thoughts, the emotions feel like my emotions. And so part of the journey, I think, in developing everyone's unique gift is to learn how you receive information and to embrace your unique way that information comes through. So I didn't know I was intuitive until I actually met my first psychic medium who could tell me that, oh, you're actually picking up energy from everyone around you. And so it's an amazing journey to tap into how you read energy, because each of us is unique and we read energy in our own unique way. And so one of the most important things I think that anyone can do on this journey is to get training, to learn how you read energy in particular, because there are so many ways to do it. And we all do it differently using different senses. And the way you read evolves over time. Now, when I read energy, I'm using all of my senses. I'm seeing, I'm hearing, I'm downloading thoughts. And so it's so important to just learn what is your way to do it, and to be able to do it without comparing yourself to other people, because we're each unique and our abilities will each unfold in their own unique way. So,
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Peyton. That's great info.
Yeah, and that is great info, and I agree with you, Peyton. And one of the things that I did, just a comment quickly on one of the things that you said is that to not compare ourselves to others, and it's been my experience, and it was me too, is that when we first start doing energy work or reading energy, if you're in a class setting, I find that everybody always compares themselves. But that's what's so wonderful about a class setting, is that when you're being taught, everybody's in the same position. And so once I realized, and we all realized that, oh my gosh, we're comparing ourselves to each other, we could all laugh at it, because we were all doing the same thing. I was born telepathic. So I've always been able to read people's minds. And two, it came to me in a thought form. There are times as well that I could actually hear somebody's voice and I recognized that it wasn't mine. Now, I'm a twin, so I always thought that all twins were telepathic. Come to find out recently, actually, that not all twins are telepathic. Not even my own twin brother isn't telepathic. So I realized, oh, well, this is interesting. I also read energy. I can feel it. I can feel it. The example today is that, I was sitting on the couch and watching the dogs, and I could feel this wave of energy come in. And I could acknowledge it right away. And it felt like almost a breeze coming through. But one of the wonderful things about getting the training too is that is to discern. I love that word, discern. What is yours and what isn't yours. And over time, whatever you don't have, you can also develop it, because we all have the intuition. So I feel things. I at times do see things. I do at times see things. I can also smell. I can read energy by smell. There's been times where for example, even before I started doing this work, I was at another job and I smelled my mother's perfume. And so I went around to everybody, and smelled them, said, who's wearing my mother's perfume? And then realized that it was my mother that came to visit. So and as a young child, I used to be, well, into adulthood, really, I could feel. I do a lot of feeling, and I too am an empath. I'm an empath. I could feel when earthquakes were coming. So I'm a big feeler. telepathy is one of the things that I can do. And at times it's like, oh, I really didn't want to know that.
Double-edged sword. Nothing in occurs.
Right.
You don't want to play rock, paper, scissors with me.
Cool.
Or Peyton. Peyton and I tried to play rock, paper, scissors
Thank you,
together
Corey.
one time. We're like,
It went on for a while.
that's how, and that's
Never play with a psychic.
I love it.
never play with psychic.
I love that.
So
Thank
those
you so
are
much,
the ways.
Corey.
Yeah, that's how I read energy as well. Yeah.
So cool. So definitely some similarities with the two of you as far as like the feeling, the telepathy, and then obviously as you've been practicing both your gifts, it seems like you both have kind of opened up some other tools. I feel like my journey when I first started, same thing. I'm a huge empath, and like you were saying, Payne, I kind of walked around the world and I had this claircognizance, the clear knowing. I could just read people. I just understood people. I would look at them and I could get an idea of what they were going through without them really sharing anything. I was a health coach for many years and I could just kind of connect with people and what they were going through. And I honestly thought everybody was able to do what I was doing. But being the empath that I was taking on everybody's energy. And like you both mentioned, I had to learn discernment as far as, is this my energy or is this somebody else's energy that I'm picking up on? And that was the biggest practice I learned in the actual training when I did decide to start taking classes. And when I started taking classes, so I definitely was more in the feeling state, the empath, so the clairsentience, clear feeling. In the training that we learned, they kind of have you work with symbols and tools, and that started opening up my clairvoyance. So I would get like a flash of an image or a flash of a word or a flash of like something really quick. And then my claircognizance, clear knowing would just kind of pop in. So I get like my intuition still works the same way where it's just a quick flash of something. And then the claircognizance just keeps coming in as long as I don't try to think about so much what's coming in. I tend to just kind of channel what I'm seeing in someone's face or the energy that I'm reading. I just let it flow through. There have been a couple instances where my clairaudience kicked in and it literally felt like a voice in my head. Sometimes that was my own voice, but sometimes I remember I was at this event and I happened to walk by this person. He ended up being like a big life lesson in my life. The experience with him actually brought me 2 classes, but I remember hearing an audible voice. I thought of someone standing next to me saying, "Who is that?" And it made me literally turn around and look at the guy, and it was like another voice. So similar to you both, where, I kind of started out with some stronger clear senses and they just kind of opened up from there. So, but yeah, I agree with you both. The discernment, learning what is mine, what is other people's energy, I think has been the biggest. And then, what are my thoughts? What are other thoughts? Am I truly channeling this from my claircognizance or was I just making this up in my head? That took a lot of practice.
It's a learning curve. It takes time. I think in training is so important, as we've all mentioned, to have tools to help you kind of focus your abilities and figure out what is really yours and how to work with the information the way you get it. Because once you start to relax and develop, it starts to come through in different ways, maybe than the way it started out. And so, but I think the other awesome thing about this work is that it lets you see people's true colors. When you read energy, you learn how to see when people aren't saying what they mean, when they're playing games, and that's part of the empathy too, that empaths tend to pick up on that, but not always trust it. And so these tools teach you how to trust your gifts and what you're getting.
Absolutely. That was one of the biggest things too for me, was the trust. Because I also too have, the clear knowing. That too was very, very, and it still is strong for me. And growing up, I just know things and I'd say something and somebody go, "Oh no, Corey, you're just being silly. Oh no," so I did shut it down. But there was that part of me that just always knew things. And one of the things that I always knew was when people were not being honest with me. But I still would question it. So yes, getting the training it's been life changing for me, and trust is a big one. To trust myself,
Because
to trust myself.
yeah, it's very easy for the ego mind to talk us out of the information we're getting, because the mind knows that this is coming from outside of us and it's trained to block that out. And so with these tools, you learn how to trust it and learn how to not let your mind interfere with, because the information you're getting is more accurate than what your mind is going to give you, because it doesn't have all the ego biases and, you know, all of our negative programming. And so once you learn to tap into that, it's much more reliable as a source of information than what your mind gives you anyway.
Yeah. And then speaking into that piece of, you know, you can really sense when someone's speaking their truth or not, you know, because I feel it kind of on a different frequency. And then I just have like this knowing like, oh, that's not really what they're meaning to say. And sometimes I'll kind of look deeper and like, well, why is that? Because there's usually a deeper layer. It's not always that they just don't want to be truthful to you. There's usually something deeper in that. So I always say my superpowers are amusement and curiosity. And so when I just, you know, the first question I'd always start off with, is this my energy or somebody else's energy? And if, you know, and then I keep going from there, you know, when I just ask myself and I let that information actually come in. Well, cool, ladies. Do you want to say anything else as far as how you read energy or what you think would be helpful for, you know, those people watching this video, what they might want to know about reading energy?
Well, you know, I loved what you just said, Yaila, about is this my energy or is it somebody else's energy? And that was one of the greatest questions that when I started in this process of learning how to read energy, was one of the very first questions that were so important to me, was to stop and go, wait a minute, is this my energy or is this not my energy? And so for the listeners, that's a great place to start, is if you feel off or something just, you just feel off, is to ask yourself that question, wait a minute, is this my energy or is this somebody else's? Because we've all been trained, right? And I still have this belief that energy it's either ours or it's not ours.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in the beginning of this journey, is one of the key things to learn. It's either our energy or somebody else's.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And it's not good or bad. There's no good energy or bad energy. It's just, is it yours or is it not yours? And so many of us who have these abilities or are interested in developing these abilities, we tend to be pretty wide open. And so we're absorbing more information from other people than we realize. And so we're walking around carrying other people's energy until we learn how to figure out, okay, am I carrying something that's mine, like you just said, Corey, or is this something that I've picked up just from people I'm bumping around with every day? But it takes some tools to help you kind of sort that out.
Yep. Absolutely.
It does.
Well,
yeah, it does.
Thank you both so much for, you know, sharing how you both read energy and kind of your journey and your process with that. Corey, how about you? If people want to get in touch with you, where can they reach you at?
They can reach me at, actually, you can reach me through Instagram, which is Corey Jean, the Makeup Queen, because I did makeup I've been doing makeup for 30 years. And you can message me there. Or you can message me on Twitter, which is Corey Jean D. And what else? That's the primary right now. That is
Cool.
my primary right now. I'm developing all that right now. You two already have all that in process, but I'm just in the beginning of coming out of the clairvoyant closet.
Well, and I will say too, Corey, you know, since you are teaching classes at Intuitive Insights, they can go to myintuition.net and they can look and see her upcoming classes coming as well to sign up.
As well as yours. Yeah.
Peyton, how about you? If they want to find more about you, where can they reach you at?
Well, my website is peytonenergetics.com, where you can see all of my classes and course offerings, which I teach to the same type of ladies that these girls teach. And on social media, my Instagram handle is @PeytonEnergetics.
Love it. And I know, Peyton, you have some info on your website too, that you have some free things on there, I want to say. We talked about last time.
We've got some great meditations, a great abundance meditation to help you shift your financial frequency, because so many of my clients want to know, how can I get the money coming in? And so again, it's all about your frequency. So we've got some great meditations to help you shift your frequency, and some great classes to help you develop your intuitive gifts and learn how to channel these abilities and to really make them your superpower.
Awesome. Thanks, Peyton. And of course, I'm Yaila. You can find me at yailaweddle.com. I also have a couple meditations on there. I have a basic grounding meditation. I have a heart opening meditation, and I teach classes, various classes through Intuitive Insights as well. Again, that's myintuition.net. You can also find me on Instagram at Yaila. So I have a lot of, whatever classes are coming up or meditations or new things, that's usually the first place I post it to. Well, thank you so much for joining us, everybody. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation. We'll see you next time.